All right, y'all. So this episode today is gonna be about acts of kindness. Now, before we get to that, I want everybody to introduce themselves for the listeners and the viewers. Let's start with Jason.
Hey, how are you? So I'm Jason. I live in Sevierville, Tennessee. If you don't know where that is, it's where Dolly Parton's theme park is. Um, Not my first choice of a living location. I used to live in Columbus, Ohio, which is more of a city. I ended up down here to help take care of my mother, and then I just kind of found a place down here. Um, and I've learned a lot of how to be kind to people in this sort of area because it's definitely it was a culture shock to be down here,
Right.
especially being gay. There's not a lot of gay people down here, so it was definitely pretty much it was a change to get used to. It took a while.
Right. Right.
But I live down here. I have a partner that's down here, and we both own a townhouse together.
Oh, that's good. That's
Uh,
good.
yeah, and so it looks like I'm going to be here for a while. So pretty much made the most of it, and just kind of focusing on my goals now, and just kind of bettering my life while being in an area that, um, there's not a lot of people like us that's down here. So
Do you like it down there in Tennessee?
I do. There are days where it gets a little, you know,
Yeah.
we I got spoiled. We visited Boston last year, and I was like, oh, I want to live here so bad. And I come from an area because I used to live in Columbus, Ohio, which was, there's a lot of cornfields in Ohio, but in the city, it's definitely a place to be. And I visited Chicago before, and I love that city for sure. But I definitely feel like I could thrive in an area that's a little bit more city-like. But being down here, it took a minute, but eventually I got used to it to an extent. And I've found that, your happiness comes from where your heart is. And if I mean, you can choose your family, choose who you love, and everything like that. And you can find happiness within kind of where you're at and um, yeah, where the universe just has you at that moment. And so
Absolutely. I
I've
agree.
I've I've gotten I've gotten a lot happier lately, and so happiness comes within. It doesn't really matter where you're at.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
And Gabrielle, how are you doing?
Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm just blessed, highly favored,
Yeah,
another
no,
day above ground,
awesome. I love to hear that. So, everybody who doesn't know, my name is Gabrielle Dunnings, and I am born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh,
And
okay.
see, I'm in the film industry along with Wade. And, my life here has been just kind of like normal and everything. I try to keep it that way, but I'm out here hustling around with film. And also, I do have a side hustle, maybe even two, but I do have a job. And my side hustle is working with dogs, cats, and pretty much anything with four legs.
Oh, I like that.
So
I like that.
even a house. So I get that pleasure of, let's say, almost getting ran over by a dog.
Oh, nah, not the
Yeah.
dog.
I got attacked by one. So,
Oh man, what kind of dog was it? Do you remember?
yeah, I still have her till this day because I've been taking care of her since she was like 6 months old. Now she's
Hmm.
like 1 to 2 years old and stuff. So it was a white lab and
Ooh.
stuff. And those dogs, they're built in the way how her owner, basically raises her and stuff like that. Like this dog is muscular. Like I can't keep up with this dog. Like there's one time I had just gotten my hair done and everything. So I'm like, no water around me at all. So next thing you know, the owner texts me, he goes, you available? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I took the dog and everything. And I normally go up to this park. This park has a whole lake there. And the dog being like a lab and everything, she kind of gets the feeling, she goes, oh, I want to go for a swim.
Right.
This lake is infested with snakes.
Oh no.
Yeah, but meanwhile, I still have her on the leash. She pulls and everything. I almost go in there, but then she's in the lake and she's swimming happily, and I'm like, as long as the dog's happy, then I'm cool.
Dogs, see, the thing about dogs, like they just love to play. They love to like adventure and roam around, you know, like dogs would take you into the wilderness. And even though you don't want to go there, you know, trust me, I know.
Like I know because I hike, well, I occasionally hike and everything, so I'm okay with wilderness, but pulling me in a whole lake full of snakes, yeah, no, count me out.
I don't mess with snakes.
Hell no. I saw one on the side of the road and go like, oh, hell no.
Oh man. Dogs are a trip. Dogs, cats, all of them. But I love them though. I love them at the end.
I love them too. I used to have one, but sadly we had to put him down. I used to have a blue heeler, and he was literally the most fantastic dog I've ever had. I had one before him, kind of bit my hand, got aggressive with me and my brother that was around my mom and stuff. So my mom's like, yeah, so he bit Gabby. You go, no, we can't have him.
Oh,
He's like, get him out of here. He's biting.
Yeah. But yeah, life down here in Georgia is, you know, it's pretty calm and everything.
I've actually been to Atlanta. It was 3 years ago. We went to Atlanta. It was, you know, like me and my mother and one of my sisters. We went down there for about 2 days, I believe. You know, obviously you got the Cascade roller skating rink down there, the Georgia Aquarium, the Waffle Houses, you know, just go there at 3 a.m. You know, like I gotta make another trip down there. I love Atlanta.
Yeah, we all gotta hang out.
Absolutely. It'll definitely happen in due timing, you know?
Hopefully.
Absolutely. Now, and then last but not least, you know, like my guy Wade over there, you know, back once again. What's new, man?
Oh man, nothing much. Just filmmaking and wrestling, man.
Grinding. I respect it, man. You gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I mean? That's part of it, man. It's part of success. You know, you just gotta grind until you make it. Even when you make it, you grinding, man.
Yeah, but you know, I gotta really thank God for Jason, because like this whole episode kind of came about because of him, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because of acts of kindness and everything. And that's
I mean, it was like, because it was like, I don't know if you all, you know, knew about like the casting for the Little Mermaid or whatever, but there were like, you know, a lot of negative comments, and there was some good comments, but you know, Jason had a really nice comment that a lot of people responded to. And I'm like, you know, I thought that was really nice because, you know, like when you really think about everything, I mean, it's a lot of hate going on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of just, and you know, it was just kind of good to see that it's a person that, you know, can really just say something kind, you know. Absolutely. I mean, like, I feel like people don't have no reason to be against each other. Like, you know, we all may have different point of views on some things, but you know, we should show love to one another. So I thought Gabrielle was like an awesome person to come on and talk about it too. So, you know, so I appreciate both of them for accepting the invitation. And I appreciate you for letting us come on.
Yes, sir.
Act some kindness.
All right, so I'm gonna just bounce into this topic real early without bouncing in it early, if that makes sense. But now that you said that, you know, it's like everybody, you know, the whole world is like obviously going through something, you know, like you got monkeypox and everything going on and all this stuff in the media, man. It's just all negativity. So it's like my input on it, I feel like this world lacks a lot of like affection, love, and just positivity. Like a lot of people don't tell each other like, you know, you love them anymore until like it's too late, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the sad part about it. Like, there was a time, you know, like, you know, going back to early on, like in the 70s, maybe, you know, you see a lot of people, you know, like maybe our parents, grandparents, you know, like there was happier times back then, you know, and obviously times change, you know what I mean? And it's like now, I don't know what's going on with the world, but my intake on it, the world definitely, like, it needs to be a congregation to just bring more peace, you know, no more like arguments and negativity, you know what I mean? It's draining. And then like I want to get on a topic like with the acts of kindness. For example, like you said, we all have our disagreements, but at the end of the day, we all gotta just be nice to one another. You never know what somebody's going through. Like I'm gonna give an example, like just from my experience. You could have a bad day. You just maybe lost a family member, or you went through like a divorce, a breakup, or just whatever is going on in your life. And you may be at work and you may have the coworker who may piss you off, or who may, be disrespectful and ignorant. And at the end of the day, you don't have to like someone, you don't have to agree with someone, whatever, but you just got to show some sort of respect and kindness when it's due. Like when you go home, you could be like, I don't like him, I don't like her, whatever. But while you two are in the same presence, just show each other some type of gratitude and kindness. It could go a long way. Just like if someone just lost a loved one, or, whatever they're going through, just, reach out to someone, like tell them like, hey man, I hope you feel better. Maybe you don't have to be a materialistic person, but just grant them a gift. Maybe that'll go a long way. Or a hug. You know what I'm saying? Like the world needs a big hug. Like this entire planet Earth, just magical hands from the universe or something, just hugging the entire planet. That's what it needs. So I think, me personally, I just feel like this world needs a lot of like encouragement, positivity, and love these days, especially with the times we live in.
Yeah. And I completely agree with you there. And the little acts of kindness, I had ended up running into a guy over in a Publix, and thank God the only thing I bought out of there was like 2 onions. And literally, like, we crossed paths and everything, and then he goes on a different way than I was going. But however, we met up each other again over at the self-checkout and stuff. And then he stops me, he goes, let me pay for that for you. And I'm like, I can't let you do that. First off, I was gonna use my dad's card, but my dad kind of saved money anyway with like that guy paying for it. But I was just like I'm getting treated so much differently, because prior to that time, I had just gotten out of a really, I was going to say, toxic relationship and stuff. So obviously, I mean, people have been mistreated from back then, from now and stuff like that. But still, I can notice the lack of affection, love, and, just kindness all around it. And like, it will really shape your mind and all that, especially those who really think about it, take the time to think about it, and being like, why would I want to be treated like this or that when I could be treated so much better? And that's the way how I interpreted it. So, I mean, I just tend not to have that negative attitude around me all the time and stuff like that. Like, also, like you said, you mentioned a coworker. I have a coworker that just, he gets so frantic when we get so many customers coming in, because I save my energy and I just stay in the kitchen. I do catering and I do takeout and stuff like that. So I save my energy because I know how some people can get. And I understand him. He's underneath a lot of stress, and especially at the time, because he was literally moving out of an apartment and stuff and moving into a new one. So I understand the stress, but it's like, one thing, you realize what you're doing, don't put it on other people. Because for me, and I get a little bit spiritual here, I am a Pisces, so I kind of pick up on energy real quick. Absolutely. If it's stressful, like, I can act out within a minute and stuff, but overall, like, I'm just like, let me keep my distance, kind of bite my tongue a little bit, because I will get aggressive sometimes. Yeah. And and then I got my other coworker, his name is Joey. I got him into it and stuff like that, because he also said, he goes, Rob, you're not going to stress me out like you did before. And I'm like, damn. So he stresses out everybody here. But I'd say mainly during this time, because I do notice it, try to keep your cool, keep your calm and everything. And if something is stressing you out, you can have time to pull away from it and just regroup yourself if it gets to you too much.
Right. It could be very overwhelming. One thing, now that you just said that, it's like, it's very important, what a lot of people don't get, you know, obviously a lot of people glorify therapy, you know what I'm saying, to get help. And it's not even, you don't have to go to therapy just on bad terms or bad days with yourself. You can go on good terms. You know, you can learn a lot just by talking to someone and seeking help. And then also, like, I want to refer to what you said earlier. Like, it starts from home, you know, and it's like everyone knows the phrase hurt people hurt people.
Hmm.
So I feel like, you know, obviously there's racists in the world. There's just naturally ignorant people that just do ignorant things. The innocent people say ignorant things. But it's also like you gotta take a look at how they were raised. You know, like their parents, like from a young age, you could take an individual, right? And they grew up maybe in a toxic household, who knows? And their mother and father could have just been feeding this type of negative energy to them, and then it adapts into their teenage life, and then you know you get older and you get smarter, get more wiser, and then it adapts into your adulthood, you know. And it's just, I think that's a cycle that really needs to be broken in a lot of families, because it just makes a big difference, and the good can outweigh the bad if you let it, you know.
Hmm.
I
Absolutely.
mean, I do believe that people can come from a bad situation and they may have been raised a certain way, or maybe they come from a racist family. But I believe at some point in time, like they also have a choice.
That's true.
Hmm.
I look at it as like my dad, for example. I'm definitely a black sheep in my family. Me and my mom are, and my dad, um, he was very much in the KKK and very. It was, and I parted ways with him from a young age, and I kind of more gravitated towards my mom. And we had rekindled our relationship here for a while. And I mean, it's been a long time. Like I'm 30, I'm going on 34 now. And it was recently when I had felt bad because I'm just like, people change and, yada, yada, all this stuff. And I had, you know, talked to him about the trauma I had, about, why I can't open up to him, why I can't say I love him and stuff like that. And he basically had the same. It was a little disappointing because it was the same response that I feel like I would have got 30 years ago. So he's kind of like the same person. So it's just like,
It's like a disappointment, you know.
it really was. And it was really sad because I feel like, he's grown. He's like in his 60s now. And I'm like, there's no place. I feel like, and I kind of had to decide for myself that I had to part ways with him because I'm just like, I can't have room for someone who is, a certain way, racist or homophobic in my life. But I've seen a lot of change in certain people. There have been a lot of people that, I've known and worked with that have changed for the better. And, I think you do have to give people a chance. Sometimes they may exceed your expectations and sometimes they, may disappoint you, but, you gotta just put your best foot forward. And just remain positive and, just know that you're making the best decisions for yourself and, just stay balanced.
Absolutely. My intake on what you just said, and I can relate to 100% because you know I grew up without my father, and it's like, you know, it's just I never really got to meet him until I got, you know, older, you know, and it's just he's just this guy. I wish I had somebody in my life like that, you know, just that male role model, but he wasn't that guy I could just go to, you know, because he was just like a, I can't say he was an alcoholic, but he just had his toxic ways, you know, that
Hmm.
affected me, you know, just growing up. So then, you know, I had to part my ways with him and everything too, because it's like I don't want to be around that. And sometimes it's like what you choose to do for yourself, it may hurt, but it's sometimes no, it's like 99% of the time the best thing you could do for yourself. It's relieving, it's rejuvenating, and it'll just make you see things a lot different. You know, it'll just
Mhm.
make you see the brighter side of things. Like, okay, there's no love lost for you. Like, I don't hate you, and I don't necessarily love you too deeply, but I love you from a distance, you know,
Mhm.
and it's only so much I can do and just tolerate around you, that to the point where I just gotta love you from afar, you know. You're my father at the end of the day, but I mean, I can't be around that type of energy
Yeah.
and
I
aura.
think what the best thing for me was, it was kind of recently, I let him know how I felt now and was giving him a chance to own up to certain things. He didn't own up to, the things, but I felt a lot better afterwards.
Right.
Because I felt like I got a lot off my chest. I felt like I saw the truth a little better. And I saw him for who he was. And, it was a little unfortunate in the situation, but I felt better about myself because I'm just like, I gave out my, what I know, I gave out my truth. And I feel like I could move forward from that. So, what I encourage people to do is, like, if you have a certain trauma that bothers you and is kind of holding you back, remember that it's not about them necessarily, it's about you. And
Right.
you need to push forward and do what you can and get off your chest what you need to so you can push forward in your life. Because it's never really about them. What they did is, almost their own business, and they have to live with it. And you can tell them your truth, and, and just try not to expect too much. If you get something out of it, that would be great. In most, I would say in most situations, if you are honest with people and stuff, you will get something a little reciprocal in return, I think.
Right.
Not all situations do that, but it's good to get it off your chest so you're able to move forward and move into a positive direction in your life.
Right. And that's all you got to do at the end of the day. You know, some people, sad to say, some people just don't like the truth, and some people don't like being lied to at the same time. So it's kind of like a confusing cycle, you know.
Mhm.
But another thing I wanted to mention about, kindness, it's I know Wade actually showed me a video. It was like I think it was like people fighting over like a shirt or something like that, or Chris Brown's shirt. Yeah,
Yeah, that
it's
was
a
Chris
crazy
Brown.
thing, man. Like that's another thing. I just don't understand. Like people have lost their minds, man. I don't understand. I mean, I know COVID changed the world, but it's like, damn.
I can understand, like, I always try to look at things from multiple points of view, but I
Yeah.
think that somebody could have been a bigger person. Like, I mean, I understand this Chris Brown shirt, the ladies love him. I mean, look, I'm not hating on the brother. Look, I'm glad for him, but I mean, at the end of the day, like, somebody should have had enough sense, like, to say, look, it's a shirt, you can have it. Like,
Man,
it's not
like
worth fighting your
that's
brother.
another thing. Like people just don't communicate no more, man.
Oof.
People don't communicate, and
Yeah.
But I
and
mean,
that's why a lot of things don't work out.
but I mean, it's no different than somebody fighting over a parking space at the store. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
it's just, just let them have the space. It's not really that serious,
that's what I'm saying, man. Like honestly, if it's that serious to be fighting over a shirt or fighting over a parking spot, or even fighting over the last piece of pork chop in the fridge, it's just never that serious. It's like, all right, man, you got it. I'm not gonna throw the hands. You can have it. It's all you. I just don't understand. And then there's, like a lot of these tragedies happen because of that, and people just all it takes is just a simple phone, not a phone call necessarily in most cases, but just to communicate. Like tell
Yeah,
someone, hey, like even if you gotta pick up the phone, like even I know Gabrielle mentioned like relationships, like a
Mhm.
toxic relationship. A lot of things can really be settled and talked about. All you gotta do is just pick up the phone. You can always text someone, but you don't know their true body language behind the phone screen. But you can always just pick up the phone, FaceTime, video call, meet up in person. Everything could really be. And then a lot of people would still be alive, you know,
Yeah.
if they just picked up the phone and reconciled and just been like, hey man, like put the pride and ego to the side. I'm like, hey man, I was wrong. You
Yeah.
were wrong, or I was
But,
right,
like,
you were wrong.
but my thing is that, like, because I mean, obviously, with this whole toxic relationship that I had to literally stand by and hold on to, um, for me, it got super draining because I was the only one literally putting the effort in there. So I was there, like, if there was a problem, it bothered me, literally affected me in the way how I slept. Like, I really wouldn't sleep at all. And when it got to that point, I was just like, I think I seriously do need to talk to this person about it. So, like, it's been constantly over and over that, like, I was talking to him about the same things and all of that. And then, because it gets super draining to do that literally
Right.
constantly and over all the time. So I was just like, I'm gonna just save myself and just call it done. Yes, I do love you, but I have to love you from a distance because it hurts my heart. And it hurts my heart to hear, that even in some situations, he's not proud of it, not that part, but it's just the part of how he deals with it and stuff. Because obviously, I mean, not only am I in the film industry, but I'm also in the health and fitness stuff. So that's why I kind of brought it to him and stuff like that. And, just to hear some people's experience with even household experience and all that, and the way how they choose to treat themselves, it really does make an impact on your life. And like, it is seriously devastating to me because, I mean, I do the best that I can for myself. And to be honest, well, in my opinion, it's not really that hard.
Right.
Yeah, I know some things like banking or anything like that can come into play, but just literally, if you stop and listen to the way how you speak to yourself and go to your friend and be like, would you be my friend still if I spoke to you about this? And this is something I just learned today from another one of my friends. They would say, no, I really wouldn't. I wouldn't be there to stick around and all that. So, it's a hard world, but like I said, trying to keep it calm.
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
just gotta, you just gotta stay positive and keep it pushing. It's really, it's like an experience where it's like, I don't deserve this, but in order for me to just get what I want out of life and for myself, I have to do what's right for me, meaning I have to let go. And it's not even always relationships that can get toxic, like family, like
Oh yeah.
I just gotta separate from my toxic partner. I gotta separate from my toxic uncle, things in that manner. And sad truth, I mean, it's just the reality, of how everything is. And it's really nothing you can control other than the only thing you can control is just who you choose to let in your life and let in the door. There's
Yeah.
a lot of people, and it's like you're like the actor, director, screenwriter, everything of your own movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of people just don't get that, and some people tend to hold on to things that will eventually break them, break their spirit, break their heart, and even just more than that, like damn near kill them. Like
Yeah.
you can die from a broken heart. It's
True.
factual.
It's true.
Yeah.
I think what's important is when you decide that something no longer fits you or your situation, is that you need to learn how to let go of that or that person
Right.
in a loving way. And you don't always have to do things hatefully. We've all been in those relationships where we want to cut up their shirts. We want to throw all their crap out the window. You cheated on me. You did this and that. It don't always have to be that way.
Yeah.
We do that when we're 16. I'm not
Right.
talking from experience.
We've all been there.
We've all
most of
been
us.
there, but I think, it's a part of maturity too, but it's just like, it really helps. And it doesn't matter if it's a person that you dated or if it's a job or it's, whatever it is in life, or even if it's a t-shirt that you've had for 15, 20 years, you have to find a way to let it go in a loving manner. Like it served its purpose.
Yeah.
no longer fits me or my situation. They're on their own path. I'm on my own path.
Right.
Just gotta set it on its way, and it doesn't have to be in a hateful way, because even though like I may not agree with certain people, or I dated someone, it didn't work out, it doesn't mean I wish the bad, the worst for them. I do wish them the best, and I hope they find their way, and stuff like that. So I think that's important when you let go of something, no matter what it is, that you find a loving way to let go of it.
Absolutely.
Is for you.
And life is really all about elevation. Like
Yeah.
that's really how you get to, after going through so much, like going through a bunch of trauma and adversity, well, just anything going on in your life, just going through a lot of things, you just want peace. You just
Yeah.
want mental peace, spirit,
Yeah.
everything. You just want peace within yourself. You want to feel happy. You want to feel alive. You want to feel free. So one thing about life that I'm still learning myself is, life is really about elevating to who you want to become and
Yeah.
where you want to be in your life, like what position you want to be in. If you excuse me, if you don't want if you want the right friends, like if you want to be around more like-minded individuals to succeed and get to the next level, then you gotta cut off what doesn't grow. You can't force a dead plant to grow.
That's
No
true.
matter how much sunlight and water you give it, you gotta just leave that plant to die. You know what I'm saying? And you just gotta go with what makes you feel good. Be around people that make you feel wholesome and then some. You don't want to be around something that just drains your spirit and that you got to second guess, whether it's a person, a job, relationship, whatever. It just time is very time is very precious. Like life is way too short and precious and valuable to just be around something or be a part of something or someone that just brings you no positive value to your life, no happiness, no
Yeah.
anything really. They just bring you headaches, and just stress. That's why it's important to just, you know, pick your friends, pick your relationships wisely. Even though it's family, what a lot of people don't get, just because it's family doesn't mean you have to stay family, and just be around people that make you feel good about yourself. That's all I'm trying to say. But yeah, man, so we're probably gonna wrap this up in a little bit, because the regular Zoom is just, I gotta upgrade, man.
I think all of us need
It's
to.
all good.
We got like 5 minutes left on the call.
Like, dang!
But yeah, before we leave this thing, anybody got any like words of encouragement or motivation they want to leave to the listeners and viewers? This is gonna be worldwide. So,
I have a little jingle that I always sing to myself, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows it because it's kind of like right on either Instagram or TikTok or what have you and stuff like that. But it goes, hold on, let me look at it. Okay. I am beautiful. I am loved. I am safe. I am free. There is no one else I would rather be other than don't count me on the words though, but that's my little jingle. And I would just really encourage everybody to just kind of sit down with themselves and kind of breathe in and stuff, because doing that gets really therapeutic. If you prefer to do get a therapist
meditation.
or anything, yeah, like do go ahead and stuff like that. Yes, it might cost money, this depending on which insurance you go by, but do it for the better, and promise you that doing the things that you also love to do, you will be happier, and who knows, you're gonna upgrade than all these other people that are probably dragging you down.
Absolutely.
So,
And sometimes the people that you least expect are in the way of your happiness and success. You'll find out in the long run, because what's in the dark eventually comes to the light, And like what you said about doing what makes you happy and everything. It's like even with therapy, even if it costs money, whether your insurance covers it or you have to pay out of pocket, it's like the money doesn't matter when it's like it's beneficial for your mental health. You're trying to seek help. you're trying to just empower yourself and be a better individual. So my opinion is like the money doesn't matter as long as it's benefiting you in a very highly positive way, and you're becoming somebody that you could be proud of and sleep well of, or excuse me, like just go to sleep well at night knowing that I've accomplished something, you know, and I'm somebody that I could be proud of and speak highly of myself. You know what I mean?
Word.
Oh man. Yeah, do you guys have any like social medias or anything you wanna leave for people to or
Mine's gonna really like be laughed out and stuff, but my personal is at normally grouchy on Instagram. I also have Facebook and stuff. So Facebook is just Gabrielle Dunnings, and that's it.
Okay, okay. What about you, Jason?
My Facebook is Jason Brenizer, Breniser. It's a ridiculous name. My Instagram is at Fe2 Yoga, which is FE, the number 2, the letter U, and then yoga. Then it makes sense when I say it out, from earth to you, yoga. Like, and I came up with that actually during quarantine. It was build yourself from the ground up, from earth to you.
Oh, okay.
Yoga.
That's nice.
And so it sounds like a mouthful at first, but once you get it and understand it, you get it.
I like that. I like that.
But if
That
you
really
just
stands
Google
out.
my name, it'll come up. But what I have to say, as far as like a message for people and stuff, I think it's more of a word, and I think it's perspective when you are talking to people, or trying to get people to understand your message and where you're coming from is perspective. And try to understand when you're talking to them, understand the perspective they're coming from. And I know for me, whenever it was actually before the pandemic started, when 2020 happened, before all of that, I was like, 2020, new vision, new perspective, new me, yada, yada.
And COVID happened.
Lost in that. It took a minute, but I was like, wow, I really did get a new perspective. And that's the goal I set out for myself. It took a minute. There was a lot happening during that year. Is like examine your perspective. If you're getting a lot of resistance from a lot of people and a lot of things that you're talking to people with, is examine the perspective you're coming from and try to take account their perspective that they're coming from. And that just kind of can open a whole new world to you. So
Absolutely. And then like Wade, you know what I'm saying? I'll drop your socials in there, you know what I'm saying? Wade Simmons on Facebook. He's got Vimeo going on. You know, I checked out the short film. I was a fan, you know, like I really love your work, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. And I really, thank you for having us again. And thank Jason.
Absolutely.
Thank Gabrielle. And I mean, if I can leave anybody with advice, I always hit every.
But yeah, you know, we had some technical difficulties, you know, once again, you know, but yeah, you know, also, you know, before we like end this out and everything, I do want to mention like the thing with acts of kindness, you know, like I said earlier in the episode, the world really does need it, you know, and it's sad that I can't say, you know, it'll never end, you know, just like a repeated cycle of negativity, but, you know, something got to be done, you know, whether it's a protest or a sit down, you know, something just got to change, man. Like this world needs more love and light, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, like I said, you know, I appreciate you guys for hopping on the platform, you know, like, and it was nice meeting you, Jason. Nice meeting you, Gabrielle, you know. Thank you. I'll, you know, check you guys on Instagram and everything, you know, give you guys a follow and whatnot. But, any other last words, you know? Anybody?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's just two things that I would say. The first is that, kind of like what Jason and Gabrielle said, and even what you said, like, I think when people start to look at perspective and peace, it kind of reminds me of this scripture that says that as much as life in you, live peaceably with all men. And I feel like, we kind of live in this world like where people, they want to have control of other people's life.
Yeah.
other people's thought process, other people's destiny. But I say that while we may not be able to choose for other people, we can still choose to love everybody, to be there for them when they need help. Because I mean, at the end of the day, we're all people, we're all different. We all, as Jason said, has different perspectives. So, we just got to embrace each other with more love. And I mean, there are people out here that are still kind, because I remember a time with me and one of my Bible mentors some years ago, we were at this restaurant, and we joke around and stuff. And he cracks this joke with this one guy, said, "Man, pay for my food." And so when we got through eating or whatever, the waitress came over and she like, "You guys don't have to pay that gentleman over there." And it was a Caucasian guy. He paid for the food. So, I'm just saying that there are people out here that are really kind, I mean, and just because other people have hatred in their heart, it doesn't mean that we have to.
Right. Even if somebody approaches you and just calls you out your name, or, or is somewhat ignorant, they may be like, "Oh, I'm not doing this for you," or, doesn't even say thank you when you give them services or anything. It's just like, sometimes you still just got to show gratitude. You just got to show respect at the end of the day. I mean, like even at, in the workforce, everybody has coworkers and things like that are just rude. They don't say thank you, or if you sneeze, they don't even say bless you. But sometimes you just gotta, it's like you think in your head, like, that was kind of rude of you, like I would appreciate like a bless you, a thank you, or whatever it is. But sometimes you just gotta acknowledge it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, what people got to remember, that anytime you hate anybody or something, people got to realize that hatred is just too much of a burden to bear.
Hatred is a disease.
I mean, it's life is too short for that. And like I said, we may not all agree on everything, but it's still our job to love our brothers and sisters, and again, to be there for anybody if they need anything, because again, we are human beings. We live, we grow. I mean, sometimes the person we are today may not be the person we are tomorrow. So,
absolutely,
I feel like we got to grow. We got to still love. And like, even Jason, like, I would say you continue to pray for your father, man, and continue to love him, in spite of, man, because that's still your dad. But
yeah, life is too precious.
Yep.
And then like another thing I want to add, you made a good point, and I also want to say, we're all pretty much the same. We may be different skin shades, skin colors, whatever. This guy might be white, I might be black, this guy might be Latino, etc. But at the same time, like we're all human. That's what we all got in common. Like our skin shades are just different,
Yep.
and our skin color and everything. But at the end of the day, we're all human. We all have emotions. We all have feelings. We all have like reactions to certain triggers or anything. But at the end of the day, it's not about what skin color you are, sexual preference or anything. Just be kind to one another, because you never know, someone needs it. Even like the homeless man on the corner, it's hot outside, it's muggy, and he doesn't have a drink of water, and he doesn't have a place to stay. His wife divorced him and everything. So sometimes you just got to be like, "Hey, man, here's this. Here's a $50 bill. Go get you something to eat. Go get you, some clothes. Go get you a case of water. Or hey, like, do you want to come? You want to come stay with me? Or hey, I'll pay for your hotel room or motel room. Like, it doesn't matter what you do, as long as you're giving somebody pure gratitude and just like a good look, and that person will just go home or go to sleep that night and just will forever remember that. And that's why I'm big on, like, it doesn't matter how many ignorant people I run into, or I have my days where it's just like, I be like grumpy myself. That's pretty much all of us. But at the end of the day, you just got to outweigh the good from the bad, and just, really just show up for people, because you never know who needs it. You might need it most days, and the next man might need it, the next woman might need it, but just, it's all about showing love and gratitude, dignity, and respect. That's all.
Yeah, for sure. You got to remember that what I tell myself is that most people will like me, will love me, and accept me for who I am. And there are always going to be some bad seeds. There,
Absolutely.
a bad day, whatever, but don't let it rule my day, because there are a lot of other people out there that, most people that, are having a good day, or, they're going to love you for who you are. And it's just, don't feed into that negativity so much. It's okay to acknowledge it. I feel like it's important to acknowledge everything that's going on in your day and your life and everything, but don't let it take over your happiness just because one
Absolutely.
is having a bad day.
Very true.
Whereas
And
so 98% of people, they're gonna love you and they're gonna accept you and want the best for you.
On the good and bad days. Yep.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yep. Even like another thing I want to say, kind of relating to what you just said. Never, my advice to, some people that's younger and everything, just coming up in the world, you're always gonna have bad days. You're always gonna have frustrated moments, no matter what the scenario is around you. Always remember one thing. If you know you're a person with pure intentions and a great heart and you treat everyone equally with respect, never let, obviously we're gonna have bad days, but never let that define who you are as a person. Never let a
True.
bad day, a bad day doesn't mean a bad life.
yeah, very true. And I will say this, that, if you feel like any negativity is around you and all of that, also that if you are not going to let that pertain to you or get to you like that, you are going to shine and you're going to be probably different, than everybody else. And you're going to be the one that sticks out. Everybody loves, well, I love it. But yeah, I mean, just don't let it get to you. If it does, pull back, regroup yourself and everything, calm a bit down and stuff, and get back out there.
Absolutely.
It's not the end of the world.
It's just, a lot of people don't understand, it's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel sad, but just never let that get the best of you, and sometimes you can act out of emotion, you never know, like, cause you could just be angry one day at whatever the scenario is, and you can go and accidentally, call somebody, a name, or just, give an attitude to somebody innocent, and sometimes that affects people in the long run because it's like, oh wow, I just got my feelings hurt, I didn't deserve that,
Yeah, but I mean, I always look at it like this, like people, like you said, they do have a choice whether they choose to grow or, let it kind of drain them and everything. Me in that mindset, I always choose to grow. So I
Right.
would always, and I don't normally think like a normal person here, like after anything that happens, I always take a different route than, what a person you would say would normally take. So
Absolutely.
I, always choose to grow. That's my add on to my advice.
The key to life and the key to just being a better person, growth, elevation, and wisdom too.
Yes.
Wisdom plays a big role, because
Mhm.
without wisdom, it's like, okay, how are you growing? If you know what I mean? Because it's like wisdom, the point of wisdom is to learn from your mistakes, learn from scenarios from the past. Like, okay, I learned to not give my all to this person. I learned not to, give my all to this guy, or to do this, to work this. But it's really all about wisdom.
That
You
is
know,
very true. I agree. Yes. Might take a little bit of time, but I agree.
some people, hey, some people's learning process is slower than others, and some might be faster.
And
It's
I will be
true.
the first one to say that I have a slow thought process.
Me
So
too. Me too. It's
it
okay.
could be a little bit longer.
Me too. I'm a visual learner. I'm a hands-on kind of guy, but that's a different story. But it's like,
No, same here.
so it's like everybody's thought process is different. Everybody's learning process is different. You gotta acknowledge it, and you gotta be confident, with how you learn too. Just be confident with anything about yourself.
Yeah.
That's also part of wisdom in a way,
Mhm. Very true. Like another one of my little stories is that I'm currently talking to one, I don't know if I can call him an ex or not because he's long distance and stuff, but you know, I'm not really into him that I was before then because, you know, I obviously taken the time to kind of like go inward and stuff and kind of figure out some stuff in my life. So I'm not really feeling, you know, whatever he's feeling for me. But, you know, I could definitely do tell there is a lack of confidence in him because I said to him, I was just like, oh, look at that. Your confidence is showing. And he goes, what? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, oh, I'm always confident. Like, I didn't know if you knew that. And I'm like, you are, but in some situations, you're not as confident as I thought you were. So that's not the reason why, you know, we kind of parted ways. But, you know, I just think that, you know, he can work on it a little bit more. Mind you, he is from a different country, but not saying that that is kind of like a damper on anything here. Like, I accept him for who he is and all of that.
Right.
But, you know, there's just something off about him that I'm just kind of like distancing myself from. And that's just that.
Trust me, I understand completely on that. I've been there before. Trust me. So.
Hey, trust your instincts. You may not know exactly what it is, but you're on.
There's two eyes you gotta trust: instincts and intuition.
That's true.
Yes.
I mean, and that's okay, and call it out.
All of that.
Because you may not realize what it is. I mean, you know, and there's been times where I've dated people and I'm just like, I don't know what it is, and I'll tell them how I feel about it. And then like later down the road, like 6 months later, they're like, you know, you were onto something. You were right. And so
you're lucky you actually have
so
that.
keep on to that. Keep on to that.
Don't do that to me here.
Trust your instincts, you know.
I always will, yeah.
Yeah.
Even your intuition, the two eyes, instincts and intuition. Your intuitions never lie, and your instincts never lie as well.
Yes, sir.
Just like how we got two eyes right now in our body. Intuition, instinct. We blink, but hey, but sometimes what you see might be true.
That's true.
You know, so you know,
that's true.
It's always trust your intuition. Your intuition is never wrong. You know, a lot of people like to, you know, be like, oh, you're insecure or it's anxiety, whatever. But no, it's like it's my intuition. I just know things, you know. And if you're like a highly spiritual person, you know that it makes a lot more sense.
Because like I do have another friend, and she is, I would say, way more spiritual than I am. Like she's got crystals and everything, but that's just her on her end. And you know, because she definitely is, you know, one who I somewhat look up to, but I also call her my soul sister. We're not related exactly, but first off, she's from Korea and stuff, and she just moved down here back to the States and stuff.
It's like soulmates pretty much.
Yeah,
twin flames,
like sisters and stuff. So yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, like I look up to her and stuff because both her and I are on the same journey and all with kindness and everything. So you know, we're all just taking it slow and you know, just living life like it is.
As you should. You know, that's really the key to victory. You know, just practice things you need to work on within yourself first, and then you know, just stay consistent with it, and then you'll get to where you need to be.
Yes,
that's all that matters.
Most of all.
Absolutely. But yeah, you know, I appreciate you three, you know, for stopping by and whatnot. You know, this is another great episode in the books, you know. This is going to be everywhere, you know, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and even YouTube. You know, I got a YouTube channel I usually post these videos on and everything. But yeah, once again, you know, I appreciate you guys. This is a great conversation. Thank you. You know, we can definitely do a part 2 sometime, you know, in the future.
That'd be awesome.
All of us. There we go.
Yeah, you know, because this is great. Hopefully that time I'll have the Zoom Pro. You know, where we can just do it for like 5 hours or something. 30 minutes not enough.
But yeah, it is.
It's still gonna somehow cut off for me.
Oh, it did. You're gonna do it for like 3 hours. It's still gonna cut off because Wade there. So I'm like, dang, what's Zoom got against my guy, man? Stop playing with him. Stop playing with my guy, man. Come on, man.
You have the best setup in eternity as soon as it cuts to Wade.
Yeah. We got to do a Zoom lawsuit in a minute. You know?
Oh, God.
What you got against Wade? What you got against Wade?
Yeah, he's a good dude. We just chopping up, you know what I'm saying? We're chopping up game on the show, man. Just speaking some real life things.
Yes, definitely. I'm it's a true pleasure to be here with you guys and all that. And I'm looking forward to, continuing doing podcasts with you and all. So
Likewise. I mean, you're more than welcome to join the show anytime. Just, hit me up whenever and we can set something up,
awesome.
And I'm a friendly guy, I'm never gonna say no. Never gonna say no.
I'm like, my manager says that might be an issue. He said
But sometimes you gotta say no to certain things. It's like if somebody asks you a crazy question, you gotta say no. Like, hey, you want to skydiving? Nah, I'm good.
I know when I need to say no.
Yeah, trust me. I say yes a lot too many times, and there's times where I think back, it's like, damn, I should have said no. Because I did something I didn't want to do. Yeah.
I know what you mean, man.
Man, because sometimes it's like pressure, peer pressure, you know what I mean? Sometimes you get pressure to do things you don't want to do, but sometimes it ended up being a good thing that you enjoy, and then sometimes it's like, damn, I regret that.
I'm glad I said yes, though. It's crazy. Like, this whole thing was inspired by me commenting on a Little Mermaid post.
I'm glad it happened, though.
Shout out to Little
I didn't even
Mermaid.
say that. Like, it was a post about like Halle Berry being cast as Little Mermaid, which was like years ago. It was 3 years ago when she was cast. And it was on a Cinemarvel's like a typical entertainment like Facebook, whatever. And it was just like talking about how controversial it was that she was cast as Little Mermaid. And my little comment was, it's really not controversial that they hired a young, beautiful girl with glowing skin, great hair, and a young, beautiful singing voice. I didn't think it was that like serious. Like, I remember when she got cast, I was like, oh, she's great. Like, she's perfect. It didn't even occur to me. Like, I mean, I see that she's Black, but it didn't even occur to me, like, because I'm just like, oh, she's perfect, and it's crazy to me that 3 years later, it's still that much an issue that she was cast as Little Mermaid. And I'm just like, I mean, she's great. Have you ever listened to her sing? Have you gotten a chance to know her? Have you
She's a legend. She deserves her flowers. She's brought so many classics. I love Halle Berry.
Oh, she's great. Halle Berry.
I didn't even catch on to that.
She's Haley, but I mean, she's great. If you ever like looked into her, I mean, her voice, I mean, she has, I mean, her twin sister is wonderful too.
Yeah, Chloe. Yeah,
Chloe.
They both.
They're the business. And when I saw her, I was like, I mean, it's perfect. And it's so crazy that like there's so many people hung up on just her being cast, and they kept doing like hashtag not my Ariel and all this stuff. And like, I try to be as nice as I can and kind as I can, but when it comes to like stuff like that and racism, it's hard, because like it just like there's this little fury that comes just from this racism, and it's just I just don't understand it.
I never understood racism though, and it's like I just don't get I mean, sad to say, just from, as a Black man myself, I just feel like there's no cure to racism. I mean, obviously racism started since, the early days with slavery and everything, but it's like, if there is a cure for it, what is it? None of us know. A sit down, a protest, we've had so many protests with Black Lives Matter and everything, and then there's still racism, like racist cops and sheriffs, killing innocent Black kids and Black men and Black women. It's a sad thing. And there's even like crime on like gay, the LGBT community,
especially trans people right now.
Yeah, and trans.
For trans people, I'm like, they're getting there's so much hate towards trans people.
I just don't understand.
Black people. And like, when I see a post on this on like a basic It's not like it was Fox News. You know, when I see something that comes from Fox News, I expect worse, to be honest, and I expect racist comments, whatever. But when
TMZ too.
a typical entertainment movie site, and I see all this hate on it, and I'm just like, really? Are we still on like this? Are we still like posting this much racist stuff? And I'm just like, what progress has been made? And I know there has, but it's really strange, like especially this year, to see that much racism still. Like
I
it
know, and
baffles me.
I never really come to realize it, but like, oh my God, just like I even have neighbors in my neighborhood, and I run and walk around my neighborhood all the time.
Right.
And they're never outside. But the time when they had first moved in, I noticed the whole Trump sign. And I noticed Trump, he's got like a little bit like, his little stuff going on and stuff like that. But it kind of made me veer away from them because, I've noticed that they are racist in some way. And I'm just like, why are you literally have a whole sign with Trump and you're supporting him and all that. Mind you, it doesn't affect me. I don't even like to vote, first off. So
same.
yeah.
Hey, you should vote though. You should vote because your voice matters. And
it does.
I know.
We live in an area, it's Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. It's white people country. Let me tell you, there are Trump everywhere.
Absolutely. Trump and Biden.
It's everywhere. And literally our neighbors that our mail gets mixed up with has like a 10,000 Trump stickers. And we're like, oh God. We have tried to go down there and talk to them, knock on the door. They will not answer the door when they see us. They're just like, no, absolutely not.
Oh my gosh.
Like they've sent us threatening letters, threatening whatever, stop stealing our Taco Bell. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know. And they just like think the worst
Not
of it.
the Taco Bell.
It's the craziest thing. Like, it is the craziest stuff. And we have like literally went down there and just like, all right, let's have a conversation. And they're just like, no, we don't want to talk to you. It's like, what? Well, like, what world are we in? So there's so much Trump, whatever. And that's why I went to go, like, I work in the food industry as well.
Mm-hmm.
I work at a Mediterranean restaurant. The owner is from Israel. So it's a little bit more, it's a different vibe than a lot of the stuff around here because it's very Trump, whatever. And I worked during the pandemic, during the last election, and that was nuts enough for me to where I became a little off balance because I was like, this is hard to deal with every day. It's Trump,
right.
Yada, yada. And I was like, I need to go work somewhere else a little bit more. I want to be as positive I can and be as inspirational and like try to talk to people. But there is a threshold at some point. I'm just like, I need to work somewhere where I get a little bit different of a clientele because I'm just like, if I see one more Trump, whatever, and Biden this, I'm just Biden, Biden.
I'm just over it, man. And Biden's not making the country any.
It is terrible. And living down here, it gets, that's why, like I said, what I said at the beginning is just like, it gets a little challenging because like,
especially in the South, yeah.
Sat through a Trump parade and you're just trying to get to work. And it's just like, they're not abiding traffic laws and they're just like, yada, yada, in their big old trucks. And they're just like driving through everybody and just like F Biden. And I'm just like, I'm just trying to get to work. It can be,
I'm like, yeah, that's cool and all.
Your neighbors having the Trump stuff. I'm just like, girl.
I'm like, they got a dog and stuff.
I understand exactly what you say because when I see a sticker, when I see a neighbor with that, I'm just like, they're against me.
That's exactly how I read them, honestly, at first. That is exactly how
it's hard sometimes.
You want to know a funny story? So I don't know if it was today or yesterday. It was one of these days this week. I kid you not. So boom, I live in the inner city, So I'm driving past this gas station and I'm in the hood. I'm just driving, minding my business. I look on the side of somebody's house. It was a flag and it said Trump 2024. I'm like, oh, holy shit. Trump's in the hood? Oh my Lord.
They mad about gas prices, I guess.
somebody's mad about something. I was just like, I mean, gas prices are ridiculous, but we're gonna save that for another episode because I got my opinion on that one. You know,
I don't know. I think people need to remember that like Trump is not about human rights.
right.
You know, and that's my, Biden may not be the greatest president in the world or, whatever your opinion, but I'm just like, you have to, I will never forget when Trump, I think the big thing that sticks out for me with Trump is when he made fun of that disabled person on live TV. And I'm just like,
yeah, I didn't like that.
Yes.
and that was prior to a lot of things that happened with him. But I just, that moment just sits in my head. And I'm just like, that's not a person that's about human rights. I'm like, I can never trust that.
Right. And then he's saying like derogatory things, and he made like a remark about like Mexicans, I think, or immigrants.
Oh, many times.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Many
Trump
times.
is known for that. Like Trump is just known for ignorance.
And like, and people get blinded, I guess, like with money or just like tax breaks and stuff. And I'm just like, what's more important to you? And then I don't believe that Trump was ever for human rights. And I'm just like, I just can't, and then there was like this whole uproar and that stuff that happened at the storm in the Capitol and stuff. And
I remember that. That was crazy.
yeah, it's just like a lot of it just never sat right with me. And I'm just like, I just don't trust it. And you can, people can say what they want about Biden and stuff. And I'm just like, but I still feel very just like Trump is no good as far as human rights, women's rights, Black rights, gay rights, everything. I just don't trust it.
Absolutely. He took away rights, if anything.
Yeah.
Some people just don't feel entitled to their own rights anymore, because of him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad.
That thing also about what he said, like his little slogan, "Let's make America great again."
Yeah, okay.
That obviously, I mean, I was kind of like, what was it, oblivious to it at first, but then now that we're like touching the subject, I'm just like, I feel like people who say like, "Let's make this great again," they're doing the opposite of like making it worse.
Let's make America backwards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel
It's
like
like-
they're really doing that, and they're really kind of like twisting their words. They might not know what, how to do it or something like that, but in a way, I'm kind of like against people who say stuff like, "Oh, let's make this great again," and stuff like that. Like a president.
When was it great? Like,
Yeah, like seriously.
unless like we've come forward. And then now it's like women's rights are now being taken away.
Yep, with the Roe
Rights.
versus
I'm
Wade.
just like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, but Roe versus Wade, had a lot more than just women's rights. It had a lot in there. And like the fact that they're trying to come after, gay people's right to just exist. It's, there's a lot happening, and it's just like, what was so great about being in the 70s or 60s or 50s? And just like, it's, it was like a straight white person's time to thrive. And I'm just like, what, you want to go back to that?
Yeah. I mean,
And I never liked it to begin with.
yeah, we've all been through like the whole segregation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like all that has been already dealt with. We already have Rosa Parks. We've had,
Martin
other.
Luther King.
Yeah, and like seriously, we don't need to be going through this again. Like,
I feel like we're going
so
to.
hard.
It's
Yeah.
like history repeats itself pretty
Yeah.
much.
It really does.
It's sad, but
Yes.
that's America, basically.
Well, I'm trying to break that chain right now.
Yeah. I mean, me and
Yes.
you both. I'm on your team. We're going to
That's why you got to vote, Gabrielle. You say that like it's just like you don't like to vote. I'm just like, no, you have to vote.
I'm in the same boat where it's like, as much as I don't like to vote, I just vote anyway. Like when we had the last election, like with Trump and Biden.
He probably thinks his name is that as well, Joe and
Biden. I don't know. They might be two different people.
it's true.
But yeah, even with that, it's just like with Biden, I know he used to be with Obama a lot and stuff, and I've kind of heard little things about him. And then Trump, he has this reputation that everyone knows about. So it's just like, it's like a clash between the two, but it's just like, all right, may the best, may the worst man win, basically. And hey, things
Best
happen.
of the worst. Best of the worst.
Best of the worst, pretty much.
Best of the worst.
There is something I've also kind of noticed about the world, and I don't know if I can say with individual people who I'm around with, but it seems like America just loves to veer towards the bad stuff that happens and all of that. And I'm like, you know, why are you veering off in this direction when literally there's literally a whole good guy who literally has the experience and everything, who literally can get you out of a situation and stuff like that. But y'all rather go for literally a whole dude that literally, who is it? Because after Trump got out of presidency, there literally was a whole riot.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
We chose Trump. They the one who chose Trump and stuff. And
I vividly remember that.
A whole world broke out into a whole little mini war over Trump and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, we voted for him.
Girl, I saw that here too, because living here, like I had a manager. That's why I left one of my jobs. I had a manager that she actually didn't come to work, and she took off for that week of work because she was like, you know, because she believed that. Have you ever heard that QAnon theory of how like Biden was all lizard people and they were gonna?
Yes.
I worked with someone who was my manager who believed all that stuff and refused to come to work because she's like, no, there's going to be an uproar. There's going to be like, I got to be off of work. So I'm available for the 6th. So when I see, you know, Biden being unmasked and all this stuff, so she could go up there and do all this stuff. I'm like, this shit is crazy. Because she like, I was like, and she posts that she works here. And I'm just like, I don't know what's going to happen. But I was like, I can't work here. This is too crazy for me.
Oh my God.
And like just all the people that like I served and just everything. I was like, you know, because I live in, so like if you, what y'all don't know is like during the pandemic, in this area is like, this is where all the people that didn't believe in masks or vaccinations and was so Trump, this is where they came to vacation. And I worked here. It was like, it was just seeing all that just constantly. I'm just like, it was just like, it just kept happening around me. And I was like, man, this stuff is crazy. Y'all believe in some crazy stuff. And I'm like, they're coming in and talking about, like, I work at a pizza place and they were coming in talking all this stuff. And I'm just like, look, what do you want to eat? Like, I don't like, y'all just talking, just hey, like this is crazy. And then you keep talking about Biden being unmasked and being a lizard person, Nancy Pelosi being a lizard person. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like so far-fetched. And like there are people that believe this stuff. And I'm just like, you are so caught up in that I'm just like, you can't even see the reality that's going on around you. And like,
some people are just blinded, you know?
Yeah, I guess so. And I tried to think the best of them sometimes. And I really do. You know, that's the thing I've learned from guest service and, you know, serving people is just like, you know what? You may be a crazy person, but, you know, I'm still going to treat you with kindness and I'm going to still treat you like this is your home.
That's true.
You know, and then they,
Absolutely.
you know, and they would still have, you know, a good day, you know, even though I didn't believe in that. And, you know, when people would ask me, I'd be honest. I'm just too honest for my own good sometimes. And sometimes I didn't get a tip. They may have had intentions to give me a tip, but by the end of it, they're just like, you know what? No, I'm not going to give you a tip. And I'm just like, hey, it's fine. I feel good about it. You should give me a tip. I'm all right. But it is what it is, you know. Like I said, you can't please every person, but you know, I'm still
right.
with kindness and whatever. And they may remember it one day, you know, 5 years from now, they may feel bad about the non-tip that they gave me, but and I hope they do. I was still nice to them and I hope they feel bad about it.
Hey, sometimes when you give services to people, you know, you can do your best and some people just won't appreciate it, you know?
They won't. It's fine. I
It
try
is
to
what it is.
servers all
Yeah.
the time that like they get so hung up when they don't get a tip, and I'm just like, you may not get a tip, but your next table is going to tip you so much.
Right.
I don't even know. The universe just will work itself out.
Mhm.
Still go
That
home
is
with some
why.
money. It is true. I'm just like, you don't need to feel, don't ruin your whole night over one person not tipping you. So what? You know what? That's on them. That's their business. That's something that they have to live with, that they didn't tip you, because they will find out about it, hopefully, eventually.
Some people are just inconsiderate,
Well,
They are.
But I mean, whether you agree with somebody or not, you should still tip a waitress or a waiter.
Oh,
You know?
Oh, yeah.
always.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm
I mean,
freaking psychotic. Like if I go on a date with somebody, like I'm telling you, I have left dates. If they do not tip later, I'm just like, oh no, there is not a second date. Like, but I'm literally psychotic. When someone tips for a date or they're paying for me, I'm just like, how much did you tip? And they're just like, I'm not telling you. I'm just like, no, I will not sleep at night until I see that tip. I need to know you tip that waiter accordingly. Like
we did
I'm
it.
just like I will not stop thinking about it, and it will not only will it tell me who you are as a person, but I'm just like I'm gonna feel bad. I would like to come here again.
All right, the food was excellent. The hospitality was amazing. Give them a good $10 and we're good. Like every time I get my haircut is $40.
I'm just like, I don't want them to see me and be just like, oh, you don't tip. Like I'm just like, no, I tip.
It's always necessary to tip, man. And
Always.
the last tip of what I'm saying, this episode, if you don't tip whoever's giving you great services, you ain't shit. Basically,
That's the message.
Facts. Facts right there.
just gotta keep it raw and uncut for the one time. You know what I mean?
Oh man, y'all just reminded me of a documentary. Me and some other friends, we shot on waiters and waitresses like about tipping and stuff. I got to get a copy of that. I forgot all about that.
All right, y'all. So this about to cut out again, but we just gonna end this off saying, thank y'all once again. Looking forward to talking to y'all again sometime.
I ain't saying nothing no
No.
more because it's gonna cut off on me, so I'm gonna be quiet.
Sorry, me and Gabrielle talk about something. Me and Jason, chop it up.